You wake up on a thin straw mat in Japan in the year 1000. The night was so cold that you could barely feel your fingers. A rat ran across the wooden beam above your head. Judging by the situation, it probably even stepped on your face. Your mother wakes you before sunrise. You sit up on the mat and try to open your eyes. Outside, the village is only beginning to wake up. Morning mist covers the fields surrounding the houses. For breakfast, a small bowl of rice is waiting for you. And that is literally your entire breakfast. You try not to lose a single grain. Because your family's food supplies are almost gone. The whole family shares a very modest meal. By modern standards, it would hardly count as breakfast. After eating, you head to the fields with your father. Your feet immediately sink into the cold mud. Within minutes, a leech attaches itself to your leg. You try to pull it off and nearly fall over. Meanwhile, dozens of hungry mosquitoes circle around you. The work has only just begun, and you are already tired. But your father expects you to keep working. At the same time, the children of noble families are learning to read and write. You can only watch that life from afar. Instead of books, you have baskets, mud, and hard labor. Sometimes travelers pass through the village. And all the villagers immediately gather around them. Because they bring news from the outside world. You hear stories about the incredibly large city of Kyoto. In your imagination, it sounds like a fairy tale. You begin dreaming of seeing it with your own eyes. One day, an imperial messenger arrives in the village. The people immediately bow before him. His clothes are worth more than your entire house. Even his horse looks richer than most of the villagers. You cannot take your eyes off him. That day, you learn about the lives of Kyoto's aristocrats. While peasants work in the fields, nobles write poetry. Some of them spend entire days in beautiful gardens. And suddenly, you realize just how different your lives are. You look once more at the mountains surrounding your village. More and more questions fill your mind. What lies beyond those mountains? Do enormous cities really exist there? That night, you cannot fall asleep for a long time. Lying beside the window, you stare at the moon and dream of another world. You still cannot forget the stories about Kyoto. Several years pass, and your dream finally becomes reality. You are finally allowed to leave the village. You gather your few belongings. A long journey lies ahead. You walk along roads you have never seen before. Each day takes you farther from home. And one day, Kyoto appears on the horizon. The city is far larger than you imagined. It seems endless. Massive city gates rise before you. For the first time, you enter the capital of Japan. Crowds of people surround you. The streets are filled with movement and noise. You have never seen so many people in one place. Monks, merchants, and government officials pass by. It feels as if the entire world has gathered here. The markets buzz with the voices of sellers. Everyone is trying to sell their goods. The air is filled with countless different smells. Some are pleasant, while others are disgusting. The capital looks beautiful and filthy at the same time. Behind tall walls stand the homes of the nobility. The richest people in the country live there. But most of the city lives very differently. The poor districts are overcrowded. Your money quickly runs out. So you are forced to find work. You are hired to carry heavy sacks of rice. The work is unbelievably difficult. Before long, your hands are covered in blisters. Every day becomes a test of your endurance. Sometimes you can barely stay on your feet from exhaustion. There are nights when you fall asleep the moment you return home. But this is how thousands of ordinary people live. One day, a luxurious procession moves through the city. The crowd immediately steps aside for the aristocrats. For the first time, you see the true life of the nobility. While you work, they spend their days writing poetry. At that moment, you understand how different people's destinies can be. But wealth is only one side of life in Kyoto. After dark, some streets become dangerous. Criminals hide in narrow alleyways. Sometimes guards chase them through the city. Punishments are swift and harsh. Then a disease begins spreading through Kyoto. At first, only a few people fall ill. Soon, entire families become sick. Fear slowly spreads throughout the city. Temples fill with people searching for salvation. Monks pray day and night. But the number of funerals continues to rise. Every day brings more bad news. You manage to survive the epidemic. Years pass, and you become a grown man. You are much stronger than before. But Japan is changing along with you. Travelers speak more and more about new warriors. Rumors begin spreading along the roads. People tell stories about armed horsemen. Their influence grows with every passing year. Many people still do not understand what is happening. But the old world is already beginning to change. And one day, you see them with your own eyes. The first samurai appear on the horizon. With them comes a new era in Japanese history. In the distance, the first samurai ride across the land. For the first time, you see these new warriors yourself. Villagers watch them with caution. The samurai gradually begin collecting taxes. Now real power stands behind their actions. Meanwhile, life goes on. One day, you meet a young woman. Before long, the two of you become a family. You build a small home of your own. Every day, you work together in the fields. After some time, a child is born. For the first time, you hold your own son in your arms. The boy grows surprisingly fast. You begin teaching him everything you know. Each evening, the whole family gathers around a simple meal. It feels as though a peaceful life lies ahead. But good harvests do not come every year. One season, the fields produce far less rice. Anxiety and hunger begin spreading through the villages once again. Many families are forced to ration every piece of food. You work even harder to provide for your loved ones. Together, you survive the difficult years. More years pass, and your son becomes an adult. Now the two of you work side by side. Travelers speak more frequently about wars. People begin worrying about the future. More and more samurai appear across the country. Their influence grows with each passing year. You often watch them from a distance. Your son begins admiring the warriors. But those conversations do not make you happy. One day, your son tells you he wants to explore the wider world. You know you cannot stop him. He begins preparing for his journey. Eventually, the day of farewell arrives. You say goodbye to one another. Then he walks down the road toward his destiny. You watch him for a long time as he disappears into the distance. After he leaves, the house feels strangely quiet. The years continue to pass. You and your wife gradually grow old together. Gray hair begins to appear. Work becomes more difficult. Your knees ache almost every day. You find yourself relying on a wooden walking stick. Many evenings are spent sitting quietly outside your home. Sometimes you think back to your childhood. You remember that straw mat. You remember your mother waking you before dawn. You remember your first journey to Kyoto. You realize how far life has taken you. Now you once again look toward the distant mountains. The sun rises above the rice fields, just as it did many years ago. You greet another peaceful morning. Sitting outside your home, you watch the world around you. At last, you close your eyes. And Japan continues to change. The age of the samurai has arrived. But your story is coming to an end. You never became a great warrior or a famous ruler. You lived the life of an ordinary person. Yet it was people like you who built the history of Japan, day after day. And somewhere beyond the horizon, an entirely new era is beginning.